This segment is brought to you by St. Martin and Bourke. Know your rights.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. It is almost time for another council meeting for the Terrebonne Parish Council. Carly Harding is the council chair and District 2 rep. The vice chair is Kim Chauvin. She's also District 8. So I know this is a very important meeting. We got a lot to talk about, but I know there's some stuff going on now with the Dularge Bridge. Kim, I know bridges are on your agenda all the time, even if it's not on the council's agenda. What's the latest? And you know, where's your frustration?
Oh my God, my frustration level is here. Because I literally sent email after email asking for an emergency plan for Boudreaux Canal Bridge. Right as I got in office, we held a community meeting, and I'd asked for that emergency plan because it's never been about if it's going to break, it's about when, because it's that bad. On the other side of that, when I spoke with Councilman Danny Babin, due to the Boudreaux Canal being closed, we had to look at the Dulac Swing Bridge and see how that was going to play out too. And when you're told that they have every confidence in it, it doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy here, you know, because I'm looking at this bridge and look, we watch it open and close all the time because of shrimp season. And it's the wear and tear on the bridges. I get it, I understand it, but we need them maintained. And so we're asking for an emergency plan for if that one goes down, because it's scary.
Yeah.
Those guys will be on a literal island after that. And so we are looking at meeting with Department of Transportation to come up with an emergency plan for that. But we do have a new secretary in, and so
right. They did make changes in that department,
yes.
right, when Landry got in office.
Yeah, has he stepped into a mess, you know? And so I know that our parish president is on daily phone calls or every other day, some to that, discussing the bridges and what needs to be done here, because we're in hurricane season. We have people trying to get to work. We have moms and dads trying to get kids from daycare. It's disrupting everything around
Plus, a
here.
lot more traffic going through
Yes.
Dulac because of the Boudreaux Canal Bridge.
But just all through Houma when you look at it with the bridges. So
So that's on your agenda all the time.
every day,
I got you.
every day.
Hey, let's talk about the council agenda for Wednesday. And you got a lot of stuff going on. Beginning, Carly, I guess take us through what your agenda is, but right at the beginning, you're going to guys be talking about some millage rates and bonds.
We're doing some roll forwards in reference to property taxes and stuff like that. There's a list, a number of things that's there. One that's real significant, it helps out Council on Aging, which is our largest that we actually have. Then we also have a sales tax that's going to help the juvenile detention center. And if someone's looking at the agenda, you find that one's 0.94 and one's 0.96. One is constitutional, and the other one is voter approval. The one that's constitutional goes on, and I forget how many years the voter have to go back to re-vote the other one in.
Right. So one will roll forward, and the other one will need to go to a vote.
Both of them have no roll forward.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, but on the agenda itself, if the backup says there's two different particular taxes. One is constitutional, right, and one was added on by the voters. So the constitutional one does not require renewal, but the ones that voters.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, right.
I got you. So the next, I guess, part would be the public wishing to address the council. And again, you got the council on aging there, and you got an ad valorem exemption there?
Yeah, well, the public wishing to address the council, that's through the speaker cards. Then we actually have the public hearing. And the public hearings, to anyone that's opposing to what we're actually trying to do with the Terrebonne Council on Aging, which is followed by something else in reference to ad valorem tax exemption with deep water rising services. Generally, what happens there are large businesses. They actually employ people here. We want them to stay here. They come before the council to ask exemption to some of their provisions, similar to what Bollinger done. I think Gulf Island actually come with that too. With, saving some money to keep the business going, stay here, and employ people here.
Okay, Kim?
And I think with some of that, we need to realize that it's a foreign trade zone site. Is that what they're asking for the renewal for? And with that, if it's not given, then it'll go to our competitor, which is out of New Iberia. And so we definitely want to, look real closely at this because the work is done here, the supplies are bought here. So when you look at the benefit of it, it's like $839,000 per year because this is a 5-year, to my understanding.
Of the benefit. So
right.
even though you might exempt them from a tax, the ad valorem tax,
And
you
then
still
it's-
get the benefit of having
Yes.
those things built here.
And then they have like 35 employees now. They're talking about bringing on another 15. So you have people who live here that are, having those salaries and stuff like that. So I think it's a win for Terrebonne Parish at that point.
Jobs, man, jobs
yes.
are valuable. and
High-paying
That's how our
jobs.
economy ripples, right?
Right, higher paying jobs. So that's a good thing. That's how I kind of look at it and balance it out.
Okay, we need to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the rest of the agenda, particularly towards the end of that agenda where there's an executive session. So I think people might be interested in that. We'll take a break. We'll be right back right here on Bite.
This segment was brought to you by St. Martin and Bourke. Know your rights.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. We're sitting with the Terrebonne Council Chair, Carly Harding, and the Vice Chair, Kim Chauvin, as we preview the Terrebonne Council meeting. Carly, I guess next up, you guys are going to be the committee reports, and you adopt the ordinances. Is that right from the other day?
Well, we have the condemnation hearings that we have
Okay.
to ratify so that we can move forward on July 15th
Right.
to get some of this done.
Okay.
And then Carly can take the other ones.
Yeah, that's community development and planning. So we had our committee meetings Monday night, which was last night. So all we're doing is ratifying what we have.
Right.
Yeah, and we should be next July 15th. We're gonna have condemnation hearings. We have boards and commissions. Appointments to boards and recreation, 5, Recreation District 11, downtown development have 3, and recreation district number 6. They have 1 person that become submitted that regular boards and commissioners that we also have.
And then we get to number 7, and I see a C. Harding on there. This has to be with a discussion and possible action regarding council selection and attorneys for the remainder of the year. So explain, this is your personal.
Yeah, from my point of view, it doesn't represent
Right.
the ideology of the council as a whole. That's why the discussion is being brought forth. What has happened in 2000, the year 2000, those people that were back then, they decided that they will put a provision in there because there may be some circumstances that the balance of power had to be maintained by the perception not just the perception, but then understood legislative and administrative. And then there recently been something that's in reference to like what we had a situation with multifamily dwellings where they had to come back to us. It wasn't a situation that's actually handled by the administration. Later on, I guess we can talk about what's going to be going on.
That's
with,
where we're leaving.
Yeah, later on what we're going
They
to
got an
find.
executive session, so
Yeah.
why don't we go there
Right.
as well? So
Right. We can talk about both in the same
Yeah.
thing. So if the administration actually is being represented by our own attorney, right? So then we as the overseers are looking at it as the Supreme Court when a case is brought to us. That attorney is still our attorney also.
Mm-hmm.
So we really are looking at a point to actually say, hey, look, we can't actually show the people that we have freedom, justice, and equality when our advice is coming from an attorney who is also appointed by the administrator. So if we actually put one on a lawyer on a retainer I believe that it'll save money, and we don't have to spend thousands of dollars going outside where we can actually get those 2 lawyers that's making a comparable salary or lawyers' fees to actually go down the road.
I see. So down at the end, with possible executive session, so what you have is 4 of the 5 HUD authority members had been replaced.
Houma Housing Authority.
Housing, I'm sorry. And so they're represented by an attorney who's bringing, there's charges like to say they were fired with cause. And that's, could possibly be in front of the public. It could also go to executive session. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, they're not fired. They were removed.
Right.
Because they technically they're not. Technically they're not employed. Now the opportunity with those people that there's about 13 accusations that they actually have come up. They have an opportunity to actually refute these charges, whether they're going to be out in the public or in private. I think, from my understanding, it'd be a good thing to watch HTV tomorrow, is the fact that they may want some parts of it public or may not. But I think they're going to be represented, the 4 are going to be represented by one attorney.
Yeah, I'd heard it was Tanner McGee. I don't know that, but that's what I'd heard, that he's going to represent him. It also, the discussion of character, fitness, and competence for those commissioners. So that's, I guess, may all be out in public then, right?
It depends what they choose.
Yeah.
If they choose that. So if he's going to represent all 4, he's going to represent those commissioners that were dismissed as a whole, and which goes back to what I was saying. So if we are perhaps looking at it as the Supreme Court, then we actually, that's the reason why we want to get advice, whereas the people in the public can see the balance of justice being blind. You know what I mean? So we want to hear it with bipartisanship. You know what I mean?
So it's come to us as an appeal. So and so it would be like the appellate court in their I guess in their view. And so some of the charges are pretty serious. When you look at they have $28 million in insurance payouts since after Hurricane Ida, and there's no plan. They're stating that there's no plan. So there are questions that I have as a council person that, I went through these 13 charges and, come up with my questions of what I need to know so that I can make this decision. And like I said, there's some pretty serious things. And it's true, if we have a housing crisis, where are you at? And that's one of them. And if we have, I think that's estimated we have 800 unit shortage, and we still don't have a plan. We have a problem, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
this is 4 years after the storm.
Yes. And so it's just one to ask those type of questions and see where we're at with it.
Well, guys, thank y'all so much. We will be watching.
Stay tuned tomorrow.
Stay tuned. Check things out. Thanks so much for your time.
Hey, God bless everyone.
Thanks.
We'll be right back with Bayou Time.
This segment was brought to you by Trapp Chevrolet. We're always on your side.